Good Tuesday morning, everyone. Welcome back to Weather with Sim again. I hope you guys are all having a great day so far. And in today's weather forecast, we're going to be going over the threats of severe weather these next few days, which are looking very concerning, especially as the storm system looks to be strengthening these next few days, and that will include that potential across the plains, Midwest, and as well as Ohio Valley. But as of right now, for today, we are focusing on the Rockies, so we will go over all that. Plus, we will even be going over the flash flood threats, which are just as concerning as the potential of severe weather. And then we'll also be going over Ernesto, which has already turned into a tropical storm and is expected to turn into a hurricane pretty soon. So I hope you guys in Bermuda and as well as the Caribbean islands are on high alert, as it could really be making a lot of landfall in those areas, so we will definitely be going over that. But let's first go ahead and start out with the severe storm threat for today. And like I said, we are mainly dealing with severe storms across the Rockies for today. And as you guys can see, that does include places like Montana, into eastern Idaho, all of Wyoming, the western part of the Dakotas, into Nebraska, northern Kansas, into a little bit there of northwest Missouri, into parts of eastern Colorado, and as well as Utah, especially, as we will definitely be needing to be watching these areas extremely closely. And thankfully, no tornado threat, but we do have a pretty widespread marginal threat for damaging winds across those areas. We even do have one across South Carolina, so anywhere in this brown color that you see, you guys will have a chance for some damaging winds for today, more isolated than scattered, but we will still need to be watching very closely. We also do have a few areas to watch for some large hail, one heading from southwest Montana all the way down into northern and central Utah. So you guys in Salt Lake City, Utah might want to be thinking about putting your cars into your garage, as this storm could very well drop some large hail in some areas. And then also don't forget to secure your objects too as well, and that will be the same thing across this second area right here that you see in this brown color, heading from eastern Montana all the way down into eastern Colorado. And then we got even a third brown color right here, heading from southeast Nebraska all the way down into northwest Kansas. So you guys in those areas need to be paying attention very closely for today for the potential of some isolated wind and as well as hail. Now let's look at tomorrow, and like I said, this is starting to get more concerning these next few days. And as you guys can already see, we do have a slight risk for severe thunderstorms across southeast Nebraska into southwest Iowa, into northwest Missouri, and as well as northeast Kansas will be the areas to be watching the closest. We also do have a threat for maybe a few isolated spin-up tornadoes as we do head into tomorrow across the same areas, so make sure to be on high alert and make sure to at least have somewhat a tornado action plan in place just in case as we do head into tomorrow. We also do have just a 15% risk for damaging winds, thankfully no hatch risk. And then we also do have that threat for some large hail too as well. But we will also be looking at day 3 finally, which will be for Thursday this week, which will be after tomorrow. And as you guys can see, they haven't issued the hazards yet, but all that storm system from the plains is likely even going to bring severe weather to parts of the Midwest and as well as into the Ohio River Valley as we do head into Thursday this week. So we got to be watching those areas closely. Now, let's look at the potential for some flash flooding, okay? And as you guys can see, we do have a pretty big marginal threat for flash flooding, but we're mainly concerned about these yellow colors. We got one across South Carolina. We got another one across northern Arkansas, central and western Missouri, into eastern Kansas. And then we got another one, across northeast Colorado into southeast West Nebraska, and even into a little small area in southeast Wyoming. So we definitely got to be watching all those areas for the potential of some flash flooding. Now, if we look at day 2, okay, which will be for tomorrow, we do have another site risk and as well as marginal risk for flash flooding, which again we are mainly concerned about the yellow color heading from southern Minnesota through all of Iowa into a pretty good portion there in Missouri, and as well as into northeast Arkansas does need to be on high alert for the potential for some flash flooding. And then finally, as we get into day 3, okay, this kind of does shift off into the lower Ohio Valley, as you guys can see, so pretty much mainly including areas along and north of the Ohio River. I don't know if you guys know where the Ohio River is, but it pretty much is across southern Indiana and southern Ohio. So again, pretty much areas along and north of the Ohio River in Indiana does need to be on high alert for the potential of some flash flooding. Same goes over here for central and northern Illinois, and as well as southeast Wisconsin. So you guys in this yellow color do need to be paying attention. There is a chance this might shift a little bit farther down to the south, but I think where it is right now is probably where it will continue being these next few days before we head into Thursday. Now, let's talk about Ernesto, okay? Like I said, it is already a tropical storm. You can kind of already see that. So that yellow color that you see right there, right next to the 5 a.m. Tuesday sign, which is pretty much where we are right now. We are seeing some tropical storm force winds, as you guys can see. So again, we already have tropical storm Ernesto already around, and this is likely going to be strengthening as it makes its way towards Puerto Rico, and then continuing to strengthen, more than likely turning into a Category 2 hurricane by the time we head into Thursday or Friday, and then it will eventually make its way up towards Bermuda. Bermuda looks to be in a straight path of danger, because look at that, those H's line up pretty well, so it's pretty much either going to be going right over Bermuda, or it's going to be going just a little bit to the east, but still going to be going over Bermuda quite a bit. So you guys in Bermuda do need to be on very high alert for a potential major hurricane that could develop these next few days, because even though it looks like it will strengthen into a Category 2 hurricane, this could very well strengthen into a Category 3 hurricane, which if it does, and if it's expected to, then we might end up seeing, some M's pop up, which indicates, a major hurricane. So again, we gotta be on high alert if we do live in Bermuda. Now, let's go ahead and look at the rainfall as for the next few days, and this is pretty much what we can expect with Tropical Storm Ernesto, not Hurricane Ernesto, but Tropical Storm Ernesto. And as you guys can see, we do expect there to be some pretty high rainfall totals. We could be seeing some 6+ inches of rainfall across this yellow area that you see, and you guys can already tell by the arrow pointing to Dominica, as you guys can see. So those areas need to be keeping an eye out for some potential 6+ inches of rainfall or a half a foot of rain. So you guys in those areas, like I said, need to be keeping an eye on that, especially Puerto Rico, as we could be seeing 6 to 8 inches of rainfall in some areas, but maybe even some locally higher amounts of 8 inches plus, and that could maybe indicate the potential for a foot of rainfall in some areas. So you guys across southern and eastern Puerto Rico do need to be watching this very closely, as major flash flooding could be possible. We might be a little bit concerned about that across the Dominican Republic, especially the eastern and southern parts of the Dominican Republic, but as of right now, it looks to be Puerto Rico mainly. But let's look at those tropical storm force wind probabilities, and as you guys can see, we do have a very likelihood of seeing some tropical storm force winds across Puerto Rico down there into Bermuda. So you guys in those areas again do need to be on high alert, like I said, and of course getting ready for a potential hurricane that could be moving through, like I said. And then if we go ahead and look at the hurricane hurricane force winds probability. Hurricane force winds a little bit lower, but still high enough to where we are still concerned about, a major hurricane, like I said, developing. So again, we still got to be watching extremely closely for that potential of a major hurricane. Now, we haven't took a look at this for a little while, but this is pretty much telling you if we will see a major hurricane or not. And as you guys can see, most models do want to go up to category 2, as you guys can see. So this huge area of models that you see right there, pretty much category 1, category 2. Some of them even show category 3, which is pretty much a major hurricane. So category 3 or greater is considered a major hurricane. So again, we got to be watching for maybe the potential of this getting up to high-end Cat 2 to low-end Cat 3, which would be a low-end major hurricane if we see that, but still enough to be considered a major hurricane if this thing does strengthen the category 3, like I said. But thank you guys very much for watching. I hope you guys did enjoy today's weather forecast. If you guys are wondering about Ernesto, make sure to leave any questions, comments, or concerns down below in the comment section, and as well as don't forget to like and as well as subscribe if you guys haven't already, as I did get up to 200 subscribers a few months ago, but now you guys got me up to over 300 subscribers, which again, I really do appreciate you guys getting me up to 300 subscribers very quickly. Okay, so like I said, don't forget to like and as well as subscribe down below if you haven't already.